Welcome to the Husk Guys Podcast.
What is up, everybody? We are live, and we are fired up to be here because the boys put the beat down on the old Akron, 68-0 last week. It is 8:22 on September 9th. It's a Tuesday evening. You've got David and Andrew, two brothers who are Huskers fanatics, coming at you after a 68-0 beatdown, the first shutout since 2009. First time we've gotten 728 yards in a very, very long time. Andrew, how are we feeling this evening?
This is the least stressed that I've been during football season in probably since 2009. The last time we shut somebody out. 2 games in, and I feel great. I'm not used to it.
Feeling good. This is the fifth time in school history the Huskers have surpassed 700 yards. The most points in a game since 2007. We're feeling good. Vibes are high. Got to kick things off by telling everybody to go shop at huskguysstore.com. Huskguysstore.com. Cool merch, cool shirts, hats. I got a brand new setup. So I'm able to show you. We've got the run the ball gear. We've got the This is the Year gear. We've got merchandise. We've got hats. We've got shirts. Check it out. Huskguysstore.com. So the first thing I do want to kick it off with is a little bit of context setting on the W. So Akron may or may not be like the worst team that's ever come to God. Maybe they might even be worse than like any of the teams that came for like state championship games, like when they played like high school state championship games.
Seriously. Very,
very bad.
Stuck around and they were just like, we'll just act like Akron.
It might have been Elkhorn. It might have been like a bunch of West Side kids that are still there. But there's a level of like context that I think is needed because, publicly it's like everyone's like, oh man, it's just Akron. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's just Akron.
Yeah.
I did a run through. It was extremely painful of the times that we have played quote unquote just Akrons and either lost or had a ton of issues. So everybody remembers the Georgia Southern 45-42 loss that kind of kicked off the beginning of the end for Scott Frost. Did he get fired right after that game? I think it was right after. Northern Illinois, also a very easy winnable game, was 14-3 at half, ended up winning 35-11. Buffalo, we were winning 14-3 in the fourth quarter over Buffalo and ended up winning 28-3, but we were sweating that one out. North Dakota was tied at halftime.
Oh my God, that's right.
38-7.
That was the Anthony Grant coming out party, but
we were tied
against North Dakota, for God's sake.
North Dakota.
Ooh,
Arkansas State.
North Dakota State. They were the second best team in North Dakota that year.
Arkansas State was down to the final possession, and we needed a last almost goal line stand against Arkansas State to beat them 43-36.
In the end zone. Oh my God. Yeah, that was insane.
Louisiana Tech 28-14 was a Louisiana Tech game. And as I posted this onto the Twitterverse, I had a lot of other people bringing more bad vibes talking about Troy and other losses that people can't seem to forget. So we had a lot of that. So that being said,
Troy, just a straight up loss. Good.
Straight up loss. Troy, Georgia Southern, straight up losses. So that being said,
golly, what are we? How dare these fans that are like, it wasn't good enough?
So that's like it's not just a like it wasn't good enough. It's we get to enjoy this. We've earned it. We've deserved it. It's like all of those things together of like we just don't do this, and the fact that we did it, like we shouldn't be apologizing for it. We should be embracing it. Yes, Akron is very, very bad, but so is Georgia Southern, so is Troy, so is Louisiana Tech, Arkansas State, North Dakota, Buffalo. They were all bad, and they all came in and did what they wanted with the Huskers. And so I think there's an element there where I was like, okay, like we need to reset everybody, keep these vibes high. Like everybody's good. Oh, it's just Akron, it's Akron. Yes, so were all these other games, and we couldn't beat them the way we did here, which I think is extremely promising of the mindset of the players. That they felt like they could put this kind of a beatdown down. Would you agree?
Yeah. There was a point in the game when I absolutely agreed. I was just like, this might be the worst team we've ever played in ever. But then again, I was also just like, okay, when you go into those games, like what are you really looking for? And what you're looking for is like clean execution. Like, do we completely look like we are overpowering and manhandling an inferior opponent as we are, allegedly supposed to do? Okay, a 35-point spread. So, every other possession or so you should score and you should be, pulling ahead slowly as the game goes on. And we did all those things. So then like by halftime when it's 33-0 and the spread is 35, I'm like, I think we're ahead of schedule here. Like Vegas typically knows. They've typically got a good idea. And Vegas was wrong by 30. That's like
It's great.
they can you have to take that as a good thing.
The other, honestly, like what's the biggest thing that has come from this game for me was this leaked Rule halftime speech.
Oh my God, lay it on me.
I have watched 25 times. We've posted it to our Twitter, our Facebook, our TikTok. It's all over the place now. Hopefully you guys have seen it. I have mixed feelings on whether this stuff should actually get released, but the fact that it was is awesome. So, whatever.
So I guess your feeling is positive.
Well, I think like
it's no longer mixed.
I think conceptually this stuff shouldn't get like leaked, but also I'm like, now it's awesome. So for those who haven't seen it, Matt Rule's halftime speech up 33-0 after a complete beatdown of a first half was leaked. Yeah. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds long, and he is absolutely eviscerating the team. It was fantastic. It's like one of the best 2.5 minutes of Matt Rule's speeches is possible. The reason I loved it so much is I feel like he has been, in my perspective, like I really like all the stuff he does to build the brand and to go on podcasts and do all this stuff. Like that's all positive, but it's gotten a little much to me where I'm like, it seems like he's kind of buddy with the players all the time. And it seems like he's, he's doing the walking talks and he's got his arm around their shoulders and all this stuff. And he's like, his podcast is kind of weird. It's like, he just talks about like life, and which I'm sure it's all great. But I was like, at the end of the day, all I care about is this guy is like holding these guys to a standard that is like impossible to attain. And that speech to me. So for those who haven't seen it, I mean, he goes in and it's basically, if you look at the flow of the game at the end of the half, Akron comes down, and in the last drive of the game, I don't even know if I was watching it. I barely paid attention to this. They drove down and were able to kick a field goal. They missed, but they were driving down. Yeah, doinked it. But his perspective was, they don't respect you. They don't respect you. They aren't scared of you. They do not fear you. They are still passing, and you should be absolutely insulted. And he goes on in that, and he's like,
cutting defenders and whatever.
They're cutting defenders. They're going for defenders. They do not fear you. They do not scare. They are not scared of you. They are not scared of Nebraska. And that whole thing was like, if you do not, he goes on and says some of my favorite lines of all time. Like, I want them to fear us. I don't want them to ever schedule Nebraska ever again. I don't want them to ever say our names again. I want you to go through in a handshake line, shake their hand and say, I did this to you. And like, almost like wants to absolutely bury them. And I'm just like, yes. Like, put up 100. Like, I just feel like we've had such a like, oh, great job. We beat UTEP by 3 touchdowns. Yay. Like all this stuff. And it's like, no, you need to bury them, make them beg for mercy, and then put their head in the sand and do it again. Like, and that mindset has not existed in Nebraska in 25 years.
Yeah. I mean, people on our timeline and in our comments, like mentioned that, like you had to bring up Bo Pelini and whatever again and stuff, but he had that like it factor as a coach of like a motivator, a player's coach, a guy that was like, the players were buddies with him in like a he'll go to battle for me type of way. And I think I can feel that with Rule. Like there's definitely a human connection. He's definitely got that son of a pastor vibe and whatever going on in his podcast and everything about life. Like I literally agree with everything he says, it seems like. But that's life. Like the football part of me wants to be like the reason that Kirby Smart is so good, the reason that Jim Harbaugh was so good, the reason that Nick Saban was so good is if you read all these books about them, they are freaking psychos.
Just
They are literally so competitive. They are up at night. They are early morning risers. They are hair on fire at all times. There's, stories about Nick Saban getting mad about this championship parade getting planned during his recruitment windows. Like,
right.
that's the psycho, like, go, 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 do not stop for anything or anybody. And if the other team can't keep up with you, I'm sorry, you keep your foot on their throat. Like, that's the mentality that these guys have. And you've heard locker room speeches from Kirby Smart that get, quote unquote leaked, which I believe are leaked because there are a lot of F-bombs in there. Same with Rule's speech here. Like, that just get the locker room.
But it's what you need. It's also it's like
30 on Florida, and he's just like, you don't believe what they said about you this one time 4 years ago. And they're just like, what?
But it's what 20-year-olds resonate. It resonates with 20-year-olds. It also resonates with almost 40-year-olds who are like, yes, like that is what we need.
But it's not even just saying it. It's like, you have to feel it in your bones. And Rule.
Well, that's what he's like. You guys are checking yourselves out in the mirror. Like, absolutely not. Like, you want to play, you get out there. If you don't make a play, you're going to sit on the bench. If you're not going to score against Akron, you're going to sit on the bench. Like, all of that level of stuff. Like, and then they came out here on fire, and it was like, it did feel like we were running it up, and it felt great. It was like, oh, we're not kneeling it out. We're not just running up the middle. Like, we ran the offense until the clock ran out. And like, if you can't stop them, you can't stop them. But like, we paid you the $1 million. Like, this is exactly what the game is. If you can't stop them, you can't stop them. And like, we'll feel bad afterwards. But like that, this is what the teams in the 90s did. Is they would just bury you to the point that Pacific like shut down their football team because they couldn't handle playing football anymore. And like, we just don't do that anymore. It's like, oh, great, we beat Buffalo. Like, it's like, no, we should bury Buffalo. We should bury these teams. Yeah. So I thought that was awesome. I think that like too, because diving into the game itself, it started slow, which is also where like the fact that it finished the way it did was so exciting because like it did start very slow. And I had just finished there was 6 college football games that went over 70 points. I think I watched the Florida State game the morning before this, and they put up 70. I think Indiana put up like 56 or 60. Ohio State put up 60
absolutely. Just bent Mickey over. Coach.
Yeah, Mickey. Mickey got later, but then even Oregon put up like 60. But in all of those games too, I was like, I think we jumped out, and we can get into this, but we're up 9. Was it 9-0, 12-0? And I remember texting my friends just like,
7-0.
Why?
But then came the first.
But at the 12-0 point in the second quarter, I was texting friends just like, why can't we ever just bury these teams?
Yeah.
It's like, because at that point it was like, wait, we're just kicking field goals and we're not converting things. Like, why can't we bury teams? It's like we're gonna win. Like, after the first snap, it's like we're very clearly gonna win. But it was like, why can't we just bury a team?
Yeah.
So did you feel like in those first? So we scored right away, but
after when Emmett broke off, what was it, 47-yarder on like the first possession, I was like, okay, this could get ugly in a hurry, but in a great way. I was like, it was a very well blocked play. Like, Emmett clearly just more athletic and faster and everything, and we just kind of, it made it happen. And then when we were driving down the next, literally 2 minutes later, I was like, we're gonna score so many points. But then that came, and like, here's what bothers me. It definitely bothers me that Emmett fumbled that next possession, because that slowed our scoring down and everything, slowed it from getting ugly in a hurry. But literally the next play we got a safety, so there was a bright side moment. And then it bothered me that the 4th and 1, the Heinrich Harburg sneak didn't make it against Akron. Like, you trot again all the way down the field, like, no problem, hot knife through butter. We were just looking so good. And then we tried the Harburg tush push.
But even before
it's a name, by the way, it needs its own special name. It needs to be like The Heine
It is
push.
Heine. Heine fits.
The Heinrich's Heine push. The tush push for Heinrich's Heine is
I think that's it.
tush push of Heine's Heine.
Yeah, I think
did not go well. We didn't get into it. I was like, this is unbelievable that you can't get 1 yard against Akron. Like, I felt that. I heard what fans were saying. They were like, red zone offense. Golly, what are we doing?
But that was the painful part of that was
too.
We had first and goal at the 3 in that second possession. So that's what was painful. First and goal at the 3. And we go Quentin Ives 1 yard run, Quentin Ives 1 yard run, Harper run for no gain. I mean, it was like
kind of missed some holes there himself.
Yeah. So it's like I think the fact that we were able to fix it later in the game is very relieving, because those first 2 drives were like fumble on the 1, followed by like you can't score on the worst defense that's ever set foot in Lincoln on a first and goal at the 3. It was like, but the safety was awesome.
But at the same time, so the safety was awesome, and not to mention, like, right before that, I still knew we were going to just demolish them. Like, it's okay to not score on every single possession. I mean, we didn't punt all night.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I was like, gosh, like, what are we doing down there? Like, why can't we freaking figure it out? But
then another field goal. That was basically like a 3 and out, which was a very bizarre, kind of weird drive. That everything was just kind of off.
Holgerson commented after the game that it was not those 2 red zone possessions, but that third one where because we had it down on the 20-yard line, and that's basically stalled there too. And he's like, that was the possession that actually that bothered him the most, and he made good, solid press conference points saying, that's a moment where it's like when possession has flipped and you've got momentum on your side, that like you got to just go for the throat, and you got to go for it, and you got to execute, and like you just have to in those moments. Like, that's college football, and we didn't. So there are things that to work on, and there are things to shore up this weekend, but the rest of the game, pretty good.
Scored 8 straight touchdowns from there. So that's basically like that. The level of frustration,
the fact
pretty much diminished entirely,
is a good thing.
They pretty much diminished entirely, and then at that point they quit. We dialed it up.
It was so enjoyable though watching. Like, it was like actually just entertaining, fantastic, like great execution. Some of Rayola's throws that he made, like the one to Dane Key in the end zone,
unbelievable.
Is like, it's going to be hard to find a better pass than that. Like, honestly, at any level of football, like, he's rolling on the move. He has like a 5-inch window to throw it into on the sideline before his feet go out, and that was fantastic.
So I mean, I was surprised he stayed in as long as he did. I'm glad he did in hindsight, because now he leads the country in basically every offensive stat, which is pretty sweet.
Sure. That is pretty sick. But you can't give that speech and then say, all right, backups, you're in.
It's I think you just have that, like, what if somebody rolls up on his legs? Like, what is he still doing in the game? It's 40-0 against Akron. He was running. He ran like an RPO late in the game.
Yeah.
All of it was like a little anxiety.
Yeah, he was shaking and baking. You could tell he was feeling it. Let's talk about him a little bit more.
So he is. I'm trying to find my stat on him. He's leading the Big Ten in completions with 57.
Like that. Great.
So through 2 games, he leads the Big Ten in touchdowns with 6, which tied for 6. Leads the Big Ten in completions with 57. I think he's 5th in the country with completions at 57. He has 0 interceptions on the year, which is obviously tied for first in every conference that you're in, because 0 is a great number to have. And he's 2nd in the Big Ten in completion percentage at 78%, which Julian Sayin is the only one ahead of him by like 1/4 of a percent. He is 2nd in passing yards at 607. The only one ahead of him is USC's Jade Mayava, who's got 707, which is kind of crazy. And he's got 303 yards a game. So across every offensive stat, he's ridiculously accurate.
He definitely has an improved ability to like dissect defenses a little bit. Granted, they are two very bad pass defenses. Small sample size, I get it.
He was accurate all of last year, though.
But it's the sample that I've got, and I like.
He was accurate all. He was accurate all of last year. He's more accurate this year.
His downfall tends to be man coverage and like in those teams that can man up against you and stuff. But I don't think we've really faced that quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously these are probably two of the worst defenses we'll face all year. But regardless, there's an accuracy thing there that like you can't take for granted in the sense that how many quarterbacks have we had that just can't complete basic screen passes, basic slant routes, basic out routes that like he makes look very effortless. I mean, his 7 incompletions were
Drew Aller, like for example, like Heisman candidate Drew Aller went like I want to say like 54% against Florida International last. It's like things like that just you have off games, you just like up and down the inconsistency, whatever. And I don't know, he's just stayed Mr. Consistent, and he just like seems to be taking what's there. And fortunately, what Akron gave us was just acres of space. I mean, just all kinds of throwing lanes.
20 consecutive completions breaks Dave Hum's record from 1974. Shout out Dave Hum. I'm sure that's a throwback. Father's favorite from 74. But
isn't that crazy though? Like that didn't set in with me during game time. That like he just broke a 50-year-old record.
He didn't have an incompletion the entire second half of Cincinnati. No
one really noticed.
Yeah, sort of just flew through. But I think the biggest thing for me was the explosive plays that came from it.
Yes.
Because that, like, and again, caveat, you guys can all yell at us, it's accurate, blah, blah, blah. We had one play against Cincinnati that was longer than 20 yards. And then I think we had 11 against Akron.
Yeah.
Which 11 is more than one. So therefore,
it's so many more.
Therefore, it's like at least 100% more, maybe 200% more.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's crazy. Like, 20 completions in a row is a lot, no matter what. And it's kind of like, will we ever see that again? Like, will Raiola even do that again? Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot in a row.
Years is a lot of quarterbacking. There's been a lot of quarterbacks that have gone through here. Good ones.
A lot of quarterbacks, a lot of good ones. None as good as Rail's up there. But the explosive plays are the difference to me. Now he's got 11 of 20 plus yards, 13 completions for 15 yards. So we were throwing the ball down the field, which I think was the number one criticism coming out of the Cincinnati game. It's like, what are we doing with the checkdowns? And we're willing to throw the ball down the field, which I feel like eases a lot of Husker fans' brains.
Yeah. So right now, just to put numbers on it. So now we have 12 total, 20 plus yard plays on the season. We only had one against Cincinnati. But in 2024, we had 52 total. That was good for 81st in the country. For 30 plus yard plays, last year we had 16 total. That was 123rd. We are now up to 6th in 30 plus yard plays, 6th in the country right now.
Take that.
40 plus yard plays, we had 5 total last year. That was good for 131st in the country. We already have 2, and we are up to 51st in the country. So every one of those stats is tracking positively so far. We're 2 games in, and we're, like halfway there on the 40 plus yard plays, which is crazy to think that last year we had 5 40 plus yard plays all season. Golly, that's like not a lot of excitement for an offense.
Yeah, there's just a lot. There's yards after the catch. There was Emmett breaking yards after the catch. There's Quinn Clark like staying on his feet and scoring a long touchdown. There's Jacory making long plays and also returning punts. There just was like, to go from the performance at Cincinnati to this one was a dramatic improvement. It also like in a lot of ways served as like a spring game that we never had of not just getting to know all the players' names. Like I didn't know half the players on the roster. Now you're like, oh, that's what that guy looks like. But it was also like we just didn't have any of that coming to the spring of like, what does this team look like if we're not playing against like a very, very good Power 5 team. So I think you get to see a little bit of that. Like, oh, okay, like nice. This is there's at least something there that we can reflect on. Yeah, especially if you get into like a Michigan State schedule.
Yeah, and like I think probably the unit that I was most impressed by, I think, it's probably either the receiving core or the secondary again. But the receiving core goes deep. Like I feel pretty solid about that because, we knew about Ja'Cory, and Ja'Cory balled out. 132 yards. That's our first 100+ yard receiving game since UTEP last year, and we did not have any in 2023. 0 100-yard receiving games. So
super depressing.
Like to see a performance like that from Ja'Cory, like you just can't take those like for granted.
And he's hurt.
He's playing hurt. Yeah, he got bent over in half with his little toothpick legs. But Luke Lindenmeyer, good. Harburg, I think, getting better.
Shout out Lindenmeyer, also getting married.
Shout out to the newly engaged. I'll have more on this later. Quinn Clark showing out, like you said. He's big. He's tall. Nice. Hunter.
He's smooth.
Yeah. Hunter looks very solid. Like Hunter might actually be a bigger pickup than Key in the long run. And then you got Key, who's just like Mr. Reliable. So that's 5 right there. And then that doesn't really factor in like those second and third string guys that I think are pretty good. Like we still haven't seen, Cortez Mills really breakthrough, and we know that he's like Ja'Cory 2.0.
Yeah.
The other one that stands out to me is Carter Nelson.
Yeah.
You've got a 5-star kind of on your bench a lot.
Yeah.
I know Lindenmeyer's doing well, but like that I guess that stands out to me, like the depth part of things. And I guess that's why I think the receiving core seems to be standing out, is it's like, God, we've got all kinds of players making a difference right now. And we haven't even seen what Carter Nelson can do. Like, you need that guy on the field, but he can't find a window.
The number one for me for the whole night or the whole game that gives me such a sense of ease about the season was TJ Lateef. I've been having like such high levels of anxiety of like, if Raylo goes down, like,
we're done.
What are we doing? Like, we got to go to Harburg. Like, we just had no, like, I didn't know. Like, you have no idea what Lateef can do. You had no idea what like any of these quarterbacks can do. We didn't have a spring game. We don't know what they're doing. We saw their high school film. I thought he was very impressive. He's got some juice. He's got some wiggle. He was 6-7. He had 128 yards. He had 3 scoring drives. He had an 8-yard touchdown run that had like a little extra juice to him. I was kind of like
a little shake and bake.
He's got a little wiggle to him. That one to me, like in addition to all the wide receivers, like again, I think it just serves as like the spring game for us of like, wow, okay, so we have like you come out of the Cincinnati game, you're basically like Dylan Rayle's our entire team. We have 2 wide receivers, and that's it. And a running back. And if Emmett Johnson goes down, we're screwed because he had 32 carries, and we clearly have no other running backs. You come out of this game, and you're like, okay, we've got a pretty decent backup quarterback. We've got 3 pretty good running backs and 5 pretty good wide receivers, to your point. And like if Raylo goes down, we at least have like a kid who's he's young, but he can play.
Yeah. I mean, these games are all about building depth, and like I still think Ives, he's got to read some holes a little bit better, and Nelson does look explosive, like kind of as advertised, but he just has like a hard time finding the right places to run. And then Mosey's, he's got a little juice to him as well. Like
he's got some wiggle. Yeah, he showed some like he's probably the only one who like broke a tackle. He turned it. It was like he broke.
I mean, all of them are going to make some. They're going to all have some sort of impact. one thing that I think we definitely look for this weekend is like what exactly Mosey's role is, which like we're still trying to kind of sort out. Like, is he truly just a running back, or is he more of like a, what they call like a scat back, kind of like he's pass catching. He comes, on around like reverses. They send him out wide, like swing passes. What are we doing with Mosey? So I think he's going to get a lot of playing time this weekend and stuff, though.
Yeah, he's like one of those guys who's just a great athlete that like needs the ball. Get the ball in his hand somehow. That's why they're trying to figure out how to take it from wide receiver. He's probably like the sixth wide receiver, but then he becomes like our third or fourth running back. I don't know. Regardless, a ridiculous number of positives, like the fact that they kept their foot on the gas the entire game, the fact that these Latifs of the world and Ives and Nelsons and Moseys, all these names came out in the fourth quarter, and we're still like running the full offense. We're able to run it at a pretty high level.
There's a point in toward the end of the second quarter, when we were starting to open things up, when I was extremely comfortable having my family watch with me, and that's a good moment when you're like, "Hey kids, y'all can come in the room now.
Hey, we're having fun.
Hey, dad's not screaming into the abyss anymore.
Hey, we're having fun. This is fun."
Hey, Dad has only had 3 of those pops that you guys aren't supposed to touch. So things are going okay. Dad's not crying.
Flip side, our defense is good. I think the D coming out of Cincinnati.
Let's get into the defense.
The D was interesting. I was following Sorsby at Cincinnati. And they played Bowling Green, which, Bowling Green's not Alabama or Ohio State, but they're good. They're not a FCS team.
Bowling Green they're not Alabama. No. In previous,
but they had 300. So Sorsby, the Cincinnati quarterback, who we held to 70 yards passing, had 330 yards against Bowling Green, and I think something like 50 or 60 yards passing. I think he can play, and we held him probably more than we think in that game. I think we were the fact that we held him the way we did, I think we should be proud of, and the fact that we pitched a shutout against Akron. It's Akron, I know. It's Akron. We're all excited about it. But a shutout is a shutout. And we have not had a shutout since the Bo Pelini 2009 Nebraska's back game.
And we were temporarily.
Very back.
A huge thing that I my nerd brain focuses on as well for both offense and defense is third down conversions, because I just think that's where a lot of the time in these games you just kind of exert your dominance, where it's okay, we scored, and then when you go, when the other team goes 3 and out 3 consecutive times, and then you score, or you're converting 3 third downs, 3 consecutive times, whatever, then that's just when it starts to get ugly quickly. And much to my delight, Nebraska is number 9 in the country in third down conversion percentage right now at 64.29%.
It's really good. Really good.
It is indeed. And then we are holding teams, these 2 buffoon teams, to 16%. So 64% to 16% third down conversion rates is pretty good. And I think those numbers are going to be pretty good this weekend too. That's been a huge thing. It's just I don't know, just getting our team back on the field. Cincinnati could not get out of their own way. And then, we held the ball for 40 minutes of that game. And eventually you just completely control the clock and you completely control the game. So that was looking good. The other thing would just be the individual standouts on defense so far. I don't think anybody was expecting Petrak. First of all, I don't think anyone was pronouncing his name to be pronounced that way. P-I-E-T-R-Z-A-K. I was going with Peter Zach, which sounds like 2 people, Peter and Zach. It turns out it's Petrak.
That's what it is? Petrak?
Petrak. P-I-E-T-R-Z-A-K. Petrak.
Petrak.
There's a Z.
I will say,
you don't see silent Z's too often.
Kate Petrak. I will say like that. I think one of the best parts of games like this and like spring games and just being Nebraska, I feel like this is what's going to sell itself. Is like this kid was no one could pronounce his name or knew his name or anything, and now he's got to be like the most Googled person in Nebraska. He's had 3 straight press conferences. He's at a post game press conference. Like he's people are like paying attention. I'm like. They asked him about multiple players. They're like, "What do you think about Petrak? What do you think about Petrak? What do you think about Petrak?" It's like this kid was a nobody 72 hours ago and is now like the #1 most searched term in Nebraska over the last like 3 days because of a safety, which is a great safety.
Love this guy. Who is this guy again? Oh yeah, I love this
guy. Still, he had a good game though.
Yeah, no, he played well. I mean, his first tackle as a Husker was a safety. Like that has got to be some kind of first. That was so cool. And he just got right in there and ate him alive. And then he had an additional tackle for loss as well. I think led the team in tackles. I mean, that was crazy. Came out of nowhere. The question for me after this game is who is going to get after the quarterback?
Yeah.
Because we're doing great in coverage so far. Small sample, 2 straight games under 100 yards passing each game, which is amazing because both teams were down by points and they're passing all the dang time. Cincinnati ran on us quite a bit. Akron did absolutely nothing, just packed the bus the entire second half. But like, who's going to step up and who's going to be that guy on the D line? Because I wasn't as concerned about that between like Winery and Lenhart and RVP and Judy. Like I was like, all right. And then McCullough and like we'll send, new blitzes and stuff. We've only had 2 sacks. And 2 of them it was like a half sack each with Ochoa and Lafotu, and then Ashton Murphy got 1 last game.
Yeah.
So like who's gonna be that guy? Like that kind of just becomes an absolute like force in there. We always compare, like find your Randy Gregory and stuff, but like the reason we talk about that is like he was an absolute terror. I mean, no one could guard the guy. And he had 10, 11, 12 sacks or something. I mean, so like that's we need somebody to be that dude.
And it's a problem. I think it's a concern. I think that like we don't play that many like true passing teams. USC will be a problem. Like we're gonna have to figure that one out. But like most other teams are like run the ball teams. I don't know. We got to figure we need more pressure.
Secondary is solid. That's the thing that's crazy is like we've given up less than 100 yards passing.
Yeah.
But we only have 2 sacks in 2 games against some inferior.
Yeah, and they're not. Well, the Akron should be. It's like Akron should have like 7 sacks coming out of the game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and we had 9 tackles for loss. Like they weren't going anywhere. But yeah, I don't know. Just kind of like surprising that we aren't just like teeing off on the quarterback so far, especially if you really have a solid secondary and stuff too. I mean, you've got generally if like you're getting a quote unquote coverage sack, then you actually sack the quarterback. So
if we come out of the Baptist Christians this weekend without a sack, then we like if we don't have a sack this weekend, we'll legitimately like might not have a sack the entire season.
Yeah, it's like someone's
like if you can't sack Cincinnati, Akron, and Houston Christian, like I don't think you're sacking Michigan.
Then just don't watch our games for sacks.
Yeah, it's like it's just a bend. It's like a Diaco bend don't break defense.
Yeah. I mean, the overall like biggest positive unit on the defense is kind of as expected. I think it's the secondary. Like Singleton's doing like an awesome job coming up in run coverage, but like Buford's playing great. Hartzog obviously had some, the roller coaster that is Malcolm Hartzog and stuff has continued, but overall you can't really complain about 0 points, less than 100 yards passing given up. Again, 175 total yards. That's like what we had in like the first quarter. So pretty solid from the Black Shirts, and I would definitely be expecting more of the same. But then probably the most exciting development in terms of like improvement on the night, we return punts again.
Unbelievable.
We do it.
It's unbelievable.
I knew we could.
It's unbelievable
I knew it was allowed.
the coaching malpractice that has existed on the special team side of the ball for the last decade in Nebraska is astounding that one guy can just show up in March of this year and be like, oh, hey, I'm just going to fix all of it and do it in one off season. I mean, it's just like, hey, we can punt now, and also we can return punts, and also we know how to kick, and we make field goals just because of a new coach. It's crazy. How he just fixed it all in one off season. What were we doing?
I mean, to be fair, like the Akron punter was just, God, he had that one like 11-yarder, and then his others were just line drives that were out kicking the coverage.
I would say though,
Martin had like loads of space, but still.
I watched him though. Like we learned, at least this time, this week compared to last week. If you watch Barney's longest one, the one that they kicked it over his head. He picked it up over his shoulder on the 5-yard line.
Yeah, we
had both of their gunners blocked, double teamed on the outside. And so he actually had space. Like remember in Cincinnati, he was getting massacred, like they're ripping his head off. This one that we actually blocked for a return, and he returned 47 yards. So it's like, well, like is it that easy that you can just do that? And like, maybe he'll never have a return the rest of the season. But like the fact that he was trying, he should have housed one of those two. Like they were both very open. I felt like he did not do enough to I feel like make the first guy miss. But that was like, it's exciting to finally see. Yeah. So we had 90 yards returning?
87. And that was more than we had all of last year. 87 yards was more punt return yards than we had.
It's probably it's got to be the last 3 seasons. Like I don't remember any returns.
The last couple. He alone, he already has more punt return yards. I looked this up. He has more punt return yards than any of our leading punt returners since 2019. So for example, last year was IGC, and I think he had 60. I want to say last year. Jacory with 87 had more than any of our lead punt returners since 2019, which was Cam Taylor-Britt, I believe. And it was not that high of a number. It was like 112. So,
I'll take it.
Corey's going to pass it this weekend. Through 3 games.
I mean, just keep doing it. It sets up an entirely separate part of okay, now, it puts so much different levels of stress on them when you're they're going to punt it, they're going to punt it deep, they're going to pin us within the 10. If we kick to them, they might bring it up. So that's a big problem. It's a side of the game that we just haven't focused on in a decade. And the fact that you have it, and honestly, even just watching it as a fan, you're oh, we're not going to screw this up. The level of stress that I've been under watching extra points for the last 5 seasons, I'm oh, we haven't missed one yet. I mean, how many Frosted missed 17 extra points over the course of his 5 years. It just was he couldn't even kick PATs.
Like every other, just a coin flip.
Yeah, it was another missed one. Oh, let's pull some kid from the stands.
The one place that is a little bit perplexing is our kickoff unit. I don't know if you noticed because we had so many kickoffs, but there are times when Cunahan is, I don't know, he seems maybe a little bit inconsistent with it, but they brought Alvano in for a kickoff, and he just set that thing right out of bounds. And I think that was his only kick so far. And then John Hull had one that was not as good as well. So they got all of them involved and stuff just on kickoff duty. So I don't know, maybe they're playing around and stuff a little bit, just trying to figure out and just letting these guys get some game action. But I guess if you had to pick one place for it to improve, and punting game cannot improve because Archie Wilson did not punt, even though his family is still in town from Australia. That really sucks. I mean, it's awesome, but it kind of stinks. Their interview during the game, they were like, yeah, well, we're just sitting here, just kind of waiting for one more punt here. Like, yeah, just just one would be nice. It's like, nope, 0 punts for the Wilson family.
I think it's like if we're getting to the point, like one of the things that that Bo Rude on the Nick Bob podcast talks about a lot, like when he played and back in like the 2000s up through like the Pelini years, special teams were boring, like and they're supposed to be, right? They're like, I don't know, you don't think about it. It's like you
It
punt the
shouldn't be
ball.
a complete adventure of like,
Yeah, it's like it's like yeah, it's like you punt the ball, they catch the ball, you tackle them, the defense runs out on the field, right? Like, you kick it, here comes the extra point unit, you make it. Here comes the field goal unit, you make it. But like, field goals are a bummer because you should have scored a touchdown. But like the last 10 years has been like, there is no chance we make this field goal. We probably should go for 2 because we can't make the extra point. He's probably going to punt this out of bounds or it's going through the end zone. Like you have absolutely no idea where these things are going. Are we going to fair catch it or is it going to bounce off our face mask? Like it's just basic things that I watch this team now. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, we can do kickoffs and we can do PATs and we can catch punts and we can kick punts. And that to me is like, it's like such a low bar, but it's outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to our, I guess, like the fan moments and everything from the game. I mean, it sounded like just an awesome time to like just be taken in an enjoyable home game. A little bit less stress, bring the kids out, a little less yelling, a little more celebrating, a little bit first beers and stuff at Memorial. Like, I mean, shout out to the Husker fans. They like stayed through the fourth quarter. Like, you just like, I was listening to a random podcast just recently. As though like every day should be Saturday, guys. But anyway, they're just like they're talking about UCLA, and they're like, it's not like Nebraska. Like you can't just like mess around and suck, and your fans will just stay. Like, and it's like so true. Like we just have these fans that are so dedicated. I mean, they're there for the fourth quarter of a 68-0 game, watching the third and fourth string get after it, but they get treated to the hell of a light show that's going on. I mean, it was just, I'm just consistently impressed with Nebraska fans, and so are some of our players. So I just wanted to read like a quote from Dasan McCullough, who this is his first year playing, and he said after the game, on playing in Memorial for the first time, it was crazy. This was my second time here. I played a night game here my freshman year, which was crazy. I think that was back when he was at Indiana, actually. It was definitely a crazy experience to be on the other side of it on the team. It was wild. I was starstruck basically the whole time. And then on finishing the shutout, he said, well, I feel like we were just more on point with our movements, our communication. We're just getting better week by week. Next week, we have a lot more to improve on as well. But anyway, it just stands out that like, these are young dudes and they're, even though they're big time players, like they're looking around the crowd like this is freaking cool. And that's pretty awesome.
It's awesome. Well, I think even they were talking about the upcoming game against Houston Christian. It's 11 o'clock kick on Saturday. Yeah. And I think someone asked Rule today or yesterday, and they're like, are you nervous about, this being like a sleepy start and fans be sleepy? He's like, these fans are never sleepy. Like not these fans, like they show up no matter who it is. It could be Akron, it could be Houston Christian. So it's, I think, from a home game standpoint, like what better game to go to that you actually get to enjoy a stress-free, fun game, no matter where you're at, beautiful weather.
These are the ones you bring the kids to these ones. This is what it's all about.
But it's fun. It's like, again, all the way back to where we started this, of like, this isn't historically where you bring the kids. Like you bring them to Georgia Southern, you think that's going to be an easy win. And it's like, turns into like the single worst game of like, it's like, oh, son, Scott Frost is not getting back on that bus. Like you're like, oh my God, that's a big learning experience for your boys.
That local folk hero, he's dead to us now.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Should we talk about our boys?
Let's talk about Houston Christian.
The Baptists, the Christians.
Okay, so I was trying to look things up on Houston Christians just to give us a little prep, give us a little pod prep and stuff here. Be a professional, be a journalist. Didn't come up with much. Turns out, Not at all. Okay, here's what I'm gonna start you off with an absolute bomb here. Houston Christian's football team is 12 years old. We joined the Big Ten before Houston Christian had a football team.
Why did they start it?
I don't know. They just needed more football down in Texas.
How did they get
How did they D1?
How did they get on our schedule?
This is something that I can't answer. I don't know. Like I really like how these games come about sometimes, like how Towson ends up playing Alabama and how Florida plays the Citadel like every year. I swear to God, it just like that. Some of it doesn't make sense, but yeah, it's kind of it's a wild story. I mean, the second crazy fact about them is the enrollment of the school is in 2024 was 4,276.
Amazing. Of which 130 of them are on the football team.
4,000 students. They started out as Houston Baptist College. Then they became, I guess they graduated from that name and became Houston Baptist University in 1973. And then they became Houston Christian University in 2022.
Just switched entirely.
As just part of
they just got baptized into
as part of a religious rebranding effort. My suspicion is they were trying to recruit from a broader base, and they were like, I got to tell you guys, like, some of those Protestants are pretty good at football, and there's some Catholic schools I'd love to be recruiting at, and right now I'm a little limited. Does
the school have to go through like their own like baptism of like, do they have to be like, oh, we're baptized, we have to go through like a Christian like baptism in order to like officially like, or do you just like
they brought in
you can just elevate to like, we are no longer only, because like, don't you kind of have to elevate a little bit if you're just baptized and become a Christian?
I think they're going the opposite. I think they're starting to broaden to the point where they just like they're gonna accept atheists as well.
It's just anybody that is remotely associated with Christ.
They're like, listen, if you've thought about is there a higher being, we're just gonna take you. Like, you don't need any sort of affiliate. We're just gonna go by Houston agnostic now. So
do you like Houston? Do you want to live in Houston, and do you like Christ?
Do you just agree with being nice to people? That's fine. We'll just do that. That's fine. They are so their mascot is the Huskies. That's the other perplexing thing, and their logo looks an awfully lot. I mean, an awfully lot like the Yukon Husky. Like they threw this thing together real last minute. Not to mention, Huskies are in no way native to the Houston area. Like what? That is such a northern animal that we probably wouldn't even survive in the wild down there. Like if you're bringing a husky down there and you own one, it probably doesn't like you that much.
Jim Gaffney's good. It's like, I don't know, just call them huskies. Okay.
Okay, sure. It was no association with this area whatsoever. Now here's a trivia question for you though about Houston Christian. They have one quarterback that is still in and around the NFL. If you can name it, I would be stunned.
Zero clue.
Second clue, he also went to Western Kentucky, and he was a backup for the New England Patriots. And he then got thrust into some playing time a few years ago. 2023 in 2022, 2023 in particular, you would have heard of him more so than prior years, but
okay, just give it to me.
This one blew my mind. Bailey Zapp.
Nice.
Bailey Zapp, the Zapper. The Zapp went to Houston. He went to Houston Baptist. So if you're wondering what religion
he is, Baptist and transferred to Western Kentucky,
then he transferred.
Houston Baptist, which of course is the pipeline to Western Kentucky.
Yes, west right to the
everybody who used to Baptist wants to go
from
mid-major
Husky
football.
from Husky to Hilltopper. My story.
I'm dying to go from mid-major to a just slightly larger mid-major.
Where he climbed the ladder. We made it all the way in. But
have you seen the thing on their end zone? Have you seen this?
Yes, yeah, very much so. They have a CVS drive-through that almost is in one of the end zones.
It's in the end.
It's like there might be some traffic from that pharmacy on one of the pylons. Like
their stadium seats 5,000.
Yeah.
And the reason it only seats 5,000, which is less than every high school stadium in Nebraska, is
and definitely in Texas.
And definitely in Texas, is because there is a CVS. There are literally people picking up their prescriptions that are like, if you watch their games, people are like picking up their prescriptions at CVS. They come out and they're like, there's a Division I football game going on. Like this is really
a serious game going on.
This is really inconvenient because I needed to pick up a candy bar and my prescription and some milk at the local CVS, and there just happens to be a Houston Christian football game. Unbelievable. I mean, it's like we joke about it now. It's like we got to win this game, but like, good grief! Like this would be the biggest upset in the history of college football if they like come in and pull this thing off.
Yeah, this should not be anywhere near close. They did come out on August 28th, week 0. Only the big boys play in week 0, same day as us, and they beat Arkansas Baptist. So again, a little religious rivalry going on there. They beat Arkansas Baptist 69-0. What's going on over there? 69-0. And then they lost to Eastern Kentucky 20-10. So they are ups and downs in their schedule so far. The second part of it is they actually do have a transfer quarterback, Jake Weir, that went to Mississippi State, and their backup quarterback is Maddox Kopp, who is a former Houston and Colorado and Miami of Ohio quarterback. He is transferred literally around the country. And then they lost a quarterback last year to the transfer portal, Eli Brickhandler, which sounds more like just a profession than a quarterback. But he went to Ohio State, actually. So fun fact, they've got at least some boys out there.
I want to apologize for that little interruption. There was a child abduction that happened somewhere in 1,000 miles from here, and somehow that warranted interrupting.
Not in your bedroom.
Not in our cul-de-sac.
Not in your current, not in your home.
I don't know what they think I'm gonna do. What am I gonna get in my car, go chase somebody down? Like what am I gonna do? Okay,
go start looking. Anyway, yeah. So they have their quarterback Jake Weir. That's a big thing to know, and who to watch out for. He overtook Maddox Kopp. Maddox Kopp was a transfer that went all around the country. Jake Weir, the Mississippi State transfer, comes in, and he's not working with too much. He's got a couple transfers, one's from Louisiana Tech, to Marcus something or other, to end up watching out for. But like, I don't know. We just have more talent at every single position, and I just don't see. I just like if this game is within 50 after last.
You hope that they're able to like approach it with the same level of like intensity, the same level of I just hope that second half Akron turned on a separate switch for them where they're like, this is what happens when you put your foot on the gas. This is the level of intensity you need. This is the level of like, you bury teams when you can bury them. You step up when you can step up. I just last week gave me a lot of confidence that we will not screw this thing up.
Well, yeah,
it just feels like a different team.
And they also, like, those backup players, they need to feel that heat a little bit, like, because they're not going to get better as players if they, are just coming in these like lazy situations and stuff.
Yeah,
like they're just going to be I don't know if they have their foot off the gas. Like that's not going to make you better for Michigan. That's not going to make you better for, last game of the season when everybody's gassed and stuff. Like you got to be just go 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 mentality. So hopefully they can keep their foot on the gas and stuff here. And I have not seen a line. Have you seen a line for the game?
Isn't it one of those games where they just like aren't?
They just can't even calculate.
Yeah, what is that one? Like I don't know, I feel like they just don't do games for like FCS, or they don't do lines for like FCS games. That's my assumption, but I have not seen one either. I looked for it. I thought it was gonna be like 35 or something, but if it was 35, I would take that all day.
Let's see. I'm looking now on Vegas Insider. Oh yeah, no, there's just like not even a. This is like, it's just. I mean, okay, I'll throw one at you if I can't find one.
Hit me.
54.5.
That's a lot.
It is, but that's like where it would be.
I think we're gonna win by 50, but 54 is like right in that. Like I just think because they put up, would you say 69 in the first game? Like I wouldn't be like.
It did, yeah.
I wouldn't be completely shocked.
It's those Arkansas Baptist boys. Whoo!
I wouldn't be surprised if they scored one.
Gave them a baptism.
Like baptism by fire.
Shoo, boy.
I just wouldn't I don't know. Like maybe they got one guy that can go deep, and like in the third quarter they'll like rip one.
Yeah.
And, they'll score 7 in the fourth and like 14 in the fourth quarter or something. Like I don't know.
They better.
Well, let's talk about some other games because I need to do some picks.
Okay. You're not using this for our pick'em league, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Just get my brain.
Real life. You're better than I am.
I know I'm not. That's why
I'm
so
the biggest game from last weekend was Michigan losing. That to me is like you said these next 2 weeks to be extremely interesting.
They definitely. I mean, I think
Michigan did not look good. I think Oklahoma is probably a lot better than we think. But I watched that whole game and
they exposed them.
Underwood didn't look that good. Like Mateer had no issues moving the ball at all against Michigan, which gives me a lot of confidence for Iowa. That's the next 2 weeks are going to be extremely interesting for this team. Let's see some interesting games. We got Oregon. Oregon's favored by 28 over Northwestern.
Oh my God, Oregon by. I think I would honestly take that line at Oregon at like 42. Like that just feels way too low, doesn't it?
I mean, they beat
Oklahoma State 69-3. They just absolutely demolished
them.
Northwestern's bad. So I mean, yeah, I gotta take Oregon plus
okay. Alabama by 20 over Wisconsin, 20.5.
That one's interesting because it's a bigger number than I would have thought. I'm still taking Alabama just because I think Scotty's bad. I think they're bad.
I mean, they struggled last weekend. Who were they? They're playing Middle Tennessee State. I think they're only up by a touchdown at halftime, or maybe they're up by 3 at halftime. They ended up running away with it, but that's an interesting one in the Big Ten. Penn State plays Villanova. It's not that interesting. Georgia by 3.5 over Tennessee is the game of the week. Who are you liking that one?
The other thing on Wisconsin that I was just checking on, their starting quarterback Billy Edwards is still listed as in doubt to play against Alabama. So I mean, second stringer. Eesh, don't like it. Yipe. Sorry, what was the last one?
Tennessee, Georgia is the game of the week. Georgia by 3.5 over Tennessee.
God, yeah, this one was a struggle. Georgia kind of showed some chinks in the armor as well. Especially like on offense, they were struggling to convert last week. I think they only ended up winning 28-7 with an absolutely irate Kirby Smart. Which is probably rightfully so, but they got stood up at the goal line like on I want to say it was like 5 or 6 straight plays, like including a penalty by Austin P. So I don't know. Kirby might have the boys rolling, but it also kind of gives you those like, I don't know what's going on there. They were only up by like 14-7 at half. Tennessee's looked good. Like Joey Aguilar as their QB has like performed up to like Josh Heupel standards. He's taken them to like another level. I would take Tennessee plus the points, I think, but not confidently. I don't know. Where are you going?
I think Georgia wins that.
Yeah,
they've won 8 straight.
but to cover,
I think they win and cover. I would agree.
just like what they do.
It's more just like there's like a mental issue on the Tennessee side of beating Georgia. 8 straight years they beat them. They beat them like 10 of the last 12 years or 10 of the last 11, I think. I go Georgia on that one. The South Florida story is pretty interesting. They play Miami this weekend, and Miami's favored by 17. South Florida's coming fresh off a victory over Florida, fresh off a victory against Boise State. They climbed into the top 25. That's kind of an interesting game.
Yeah.
I think South Florida covers.
What's his name? Byron Bennett, their quarterback. He's pretty solid. Like he's kind of a tough runner and stuff too. He's like the quintessential college quarterback that he's like, he's probably not going to do much in the NFL, but he can kind of scramble and he can kind of get the ball where it needs to be. And other teams are struggling to adjust for what he is able to do on the ground. And that's tough to game plan against. I'm taking the points there. I'm going to ride the wave. Let's go Bulls, baby.
I think South Florida 17.
Yeah.
Illinois is playing really well. We need to talk about that one, but
they're plus like 27.5 though, right?
I'm glad we don't play them this year. They're favored by 27.5 over Western Michigan. I'm glad we can play them this year because they're looking pretty good.
Illinois to cover, I think there.
Notre Dame by 7 over A&M. That'd be interesting if Notre Dame starts. If Notre Dame has potential to start 0-2, but I think A&M, I don't know, they're choke artists to me, and I feel like they can't win big games.
Yeah, the only thing I guess would be like, I think A&M's offense is a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah, Marcel Reed's good.
I'm looking. They are. Yeah, I mean they're 20. A&M's offense is ranked 27th in the country. 21st in passing yards. Notre Dame, Notre Dame's going to bring a solid defense. They're going to bring Love, and he's going to just like run the ball. But like Elko's a defensive-minded coach. I don't know. It feels like a kind of a high line. So I'm going A&M.
I like it. That's all the interesting ones this weekend. It should be a fun weekend of football.
LSU, Florida.
LSU, Florida. Yeah, I skipped over that one. I think that's less interesting now. I think that's less interesting now that Florida stinks.
Do they though?
You lose to South Florida, I think maybe you're him being on the hot seat for 3 straight years, just continuing to ride it out. This is a fascinating story to me. I think LSU wins that. I don't know if they cover 9.5, but I do think they win handily.
It's interesting, but it also was interesting how Florida just everyone thought he was getting fired in October last year. Remember that?
Yeah.
Florida, they got demolished by Miami. They got beat pretty bad by Texas A&M. They barely beat UCF last year, but then they come back and they beat Florida last year. They lost to Tennessee. That's when when things really started ratcheting up. They beat Kentucky. They got beat by Georgia. They got crushed by Texas. This is when the wheels were falling off. But then they come in and then they beat LSU, and then they beat Ole Miss. They beat Florida State, and those are 3 of their big rivals, and things got back on track a little bit. I don't know. They beat some decent teams last year. DJ Lagway, we'll see.
LSU wins. Any parting thoughts here before we shut this thing down and get ready for game week? Hopefully go 3-0.
Just enjoy it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be hopefully a nice, peaceful beatdown. I don't know how it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of motivate them to keep their foot on the gas, keep the knife to the throat, whatever other metaphor and allegory or whatever you want to use, but they got to do it because they got some haters.
Look them in the eye. I want you to say, "We did this."
Get the haters off your back.
I did this to you. I did this to you. I love that. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to
Okay.
the Husk Guys podcast. It's a pleasure to entertain you guys each week and to have you guys interacting and hit subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. We got a lot of good stuff going on in there, on Facebook and Instagram. So always a pleasure. Go Big Red.